Kelly. And I'm two things I want to say about Kelly. First of all, Kelly, I love your energy, and every time you and I bump into each other, you've got like a herd of people around you. So you've got like a cult following everywhere you go. And I know you're highly relational. You're like me. We love people, right? Love people. And I really am proud of you because you stepped up and you're on the Agent Leadership Council this year, and your business is up 150% plus. So I was hoping today you could share with everyone how you're doing it. How are you getting through this really bizarre year and having so many wins, especially since your business is really around people, and when that's tough to do, how are you doing it? So tell us what you can share.
All right. So, as most of us since March, I mean, we haven't been able to do much. And I am in lots of networking groups and lots of organizations where we get together. And I build a lot of my database from that. So I have this big database now, but if you can't meet with people like normal, it's really tough. So some of the big things that I do is I'm still participating in a lot of charitable organizations. And I sit on a couple of boards because when you work doing charity together, you do business together as well, right? So as you work with people side by side, you tend to do more business together. And I do sit on a lot of charity boards. And I get a lot through Facebook. One of the big things that I did to stay in touch with people that I've met through those organizations is I started doing a coffee social. So I would have 2 or 3 people on a Zoom at a time, just people that we wanted to get together. And I would send them to their home a Starbucks delivery.
Oh my God, I love that.
And then I would do the Zoom and everybody would have our coffee together. But that way, if we were meeting in person, I'd be buying them coffee and we'd be sitting having a great time. So instead we did it on Zoom and I just sent them coffee through Uber Eats, sent them coffee, and we all had coffee together. So everybody just thought that was such a big hit. Everybody just loved that. And I have to tell you, I mean, I got a call last night from somebody who said, my father wants to sell his house in Ocala and buy another house. So I sent them an agent in Ocala and they're buying a house in Brooksville. But that was a girl that I just had a meeting with last week, a coffee social that I did with them. So, and just doing 2 or 3 people at a time, because you can really spend in 30 minutes, you can get to know each other a lot better with just 2 or 3 people at a time.
Oh my gosh, that's such a fun idea.
Yeah. And then, and even if you don't have a ton of time, take those people that are your biggest supporters, right? We all have those people who tell everybody about you, right? So you have a ton of friends, but you probably have 3 or 4 that tell everybody about you, refer you to everybody they know. So really focus on those 3 or 4 people right now, because everybody needs something. And if they're your big supporters, be their supporters as well. So support them, stay in contact with them, do something special for them, keep them rolling because they're the ones that keep sending you business.
Well, and the thing is, what I'm hearing from you is that by pouring some energy into others, you're getting like tenfold back, aren't you?
Absolutely. And people want that right now. So many people are home by themselves or staying inside or quarantined, and they're not doing the things they usually do either. So something special you can do for them, even a handwritten note, to receive a handwritten letter in the mail. You think, oh my gosh, that was so sweet. Takes you 2 minutes to do that. It doesn't have to be a whole letter. It can be 2 sentences. But for somebody to think that you went out of your way, you didn't send it through a service that sends it, you hand wrote the envelope, you hand wrote the note, and you mailed it to them. That's something special. And you don't have to do it for, 500 people in your database. You do it for those 3 or 4 that are huge supporters, or the people really need something. You also have friends and people in your database that are suffering or need a little bit of help or need a little pat on the back or need something. So be the person that does that for them.
Okay, so let me ask about logistics. Okay, so say I'm in your database, your inner circle, we know of each other. I haven't seen you in months because of the things that we typically do aren't happening. How do you engage? So how do you invite me to coffee?
So I text a lot. And most of the people that I am involved with are used to that, right? So I'll text and say, hey, it's been so long since I've seen you. Let's get together and have coffee. We can do it on Zoom or on Facebook. I do a lot on Facebook and I actually get tons of leads on Facebook, but I monitor a lot of different sites on Facebook. I'm in a lot of Facebook pages, people moving to Florida, people in New Jersey, people in here, there, people that are coming to Florida. And I'm on a lot of those sites too, but I'll see somebody on Facebook and they'll post something that I like. I'll like it or I'll comment it. And after I comment, I figured, okay, now they've seen my name. So they remember me because I commented on one of their posts. That's a good time for me now to follow up with a text or follow up with a message in Facebook Messenger and send them
So
a
yeah,
private
so like
message.
so say it's been March since I saw you, and I used to go to a monthly meeting that you always went to, and that's off. And you see I post something about the boat parade or whatever, and you comment on it. Now that's your in, right?
Absolutely, because soon as and you think about it, when you post something and somebody comments on your post, you think about that person, and even if it's somebody you might not have seen them in years. I have people I went to high school with because I grew up in this area, so I might see a comment from somebody I haven't seen in 10 years. But I remember when I see their name and it makes me think about them and how do I know them and the last time I saw them. And you all think about that. So that's the perfect time to send them a private message and really reach out.
So let's just say it's been 5 years, or I'm up from a different chapter of your life, and it's been a long time. What would you put in your Facebook message, just so that people are getting stuck on this?
Oh, I just say, hi, I saw you on Facebook. It's been such a long time. It's so great to see what you're doing. Let's catch up. Let's try to catch up. The life has gotten crazy for all of us, and I'd love to catch up with you.
So I just did this, and that I figured that's what you did. I
Yeah.
just did this. A bunch of people from high school that I don't know how I never found them on Facebook. I kind of forgot about them. But one of the guys sent a Facebook request, and I'm like, oh my God, I remember that guy we ran cross country together, and I was the worst cross country runner in the universe, but they didn't have enough people to form a team, so they talked me into it. So this group likes me a lot because I made them possible of having a team. And so we were like joking back and forth. And now I swear this guy is like liking everything I do. He's back in my algorithm, I think, for Facebook. But he had said, we've got family that wants to move down to Florida. Where should they move? And we're already off and running. And it was just that.
It's easy. It really is so much easier than you think it is. And you're not having to pick up a phone and call them. And like for me, I don't do a ton of phone calls. Jessica, I'm not the phone call person. And you don't have to feel like, oh my gosh, I got to call.
But no. Here's what I want everyone to hear. You're a communication person, and it's authentic and sincere. And I think some of us are programmed to think if it's not by the phone, it doesn't count, which is not true.
People open up to you so much more when they can type it to you. So I have had people that I haven't seen in many years send me things that I'm thinking, gosh, I haven't talked to them in 10 years, and they're sending me very personal information. But they send it to you because they can type it. So you're likely to get more information because they can type it to you, or they can text it to you,
or they can talk it in like I do,
or they can talk it in, right? So it makes it super easy for everybody, and it makes it more comfortable for people too. Then once you create that connection, if they want to talk or you want to talk, then you can do that phone call. But you get that in super easy just typing it. You all know it's easier to type something than it is to say it.
Sure. And most of us prefer texting and things over phone calls.
Yeah.
Especially when you're warming things back up. And I think that's the disconnect a lot of people have, is like, well, why am I calling this person?
Right. And calling somebody, they might not remember by your name who you are. When you call somebody, you haven't seen them in 10 years and you call them out of the blue. That's like really weird sometimes. But if you sent them a message in Facebook because you saw a post, that's normal. Everybody considers that to be normal. So, I mean, I think that that's a great way to get in and then do a phone call follow up after you get in and start having those conversations.
So one other thing I want to dive into just a little bit is passions. So if you get into a charity that you're passionate about, this is easy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. So I have a couple of things. I help a school for students with special needs. It's called Pepin Academies. And then I lost my son to a prescription drug overdose. So I sit on the Alliance for Substance Addiction Prevention for Pasco County. And so those are two charitable boards that I sit on. And those are the things that I'm super passionate about. So one of the things with the school is I get tons of teachers who are looking for houses. And they are comfortable with me because they see me on a regular basis. I talk to them on a regular basis. I sponsor things at the school, right? So they have their magnetic calendars that go out to all of their parents that have, all the dates that the kids are out of school for the year. I sponsor that and get my big logo on those calendars, those magnetic calendars. Where do you think that calendar sits? On the refrigerators of all 500 students for them to look at every single day. So it's a perfect opportunity. It doesn't cost much, and that's something that I really am passionate about. And when you are, people see that, and people want to help you as well.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is pick something you like, because your passion projects will put you in front of the right people. And then don't join a group of 3 people. Join a group with 30 people, right?
And also don't join a group don't join a group that's, 30 people and 20 of them are realtors.
Right.
Right. So I see people all the time. They spend all their time networking with other realtors, and not to say that that's bad, because that's great. I have lots of associations and lots of groups that I do that with as well. But you got to look at your return on your investment too, for what you're putting into these things. So you have to have a certain number of your organizations where there aren't, 20 realtors. So by sitting on a charitable board and helping out something that you're passionate about, your chances of having less realtors involved in that organization are better.
So that's the thing I tell you is think about what you're passionate about that you want to have as a cause for this next year. Now, Jude, I don't know if you can unmute, but if you could share what you did with Cindy's Pets for your last event, your first kind of real event that was safe. COVID, I don't know if you're available.
The drive by and get a pie.
Well, the Cindy's Pets.
Yes, that would. Yeah, are you talking about which one? I did 2.
Well, the first one was amazing, and what you were able to pull together. So if you could share,
it was amazing. Well, I give the credit to Darlene Jones for having this idea. She was all passionate that I needed to buy a big green egg. I mean, and it got to be, you got to have a big green egg. Well,
that was the raffle. That was the raffle.
Yes, that's what I did. I bought a big green egg, and then I told, anybody that donated $25 to Cindy's Pets got a raffle ticket to win this big green egg. And it was very successful. I also, we did have other raffle baskets that other people donated, which were very kind. And my friend Donna Martin here in the neighborhood is the basket queen. She knows she can make it, the most ordinary looking basket and make it look like it's worth $1 million. I mean, she's really talented at that. So you had really good looking baskets, and I had a big green egg, and you bought these raffle tickets and you got entered in this drawing. And Cindy's Pets, what we were trying to do, this is a very, very small local organization. It's all volunteer based, and they deliver pet food along with Meals on Wheels to senior citizens in our neighborhood, basically in the West Pasco. And so all volunteer run, and every dime makes a difference. And they were not able to do their big summer event. And my goal was to replace the money that they would raise on that was about $8,000. So I set a goal for 10, of course. But we didn't make it. We got 6,500 though at the first, and they were literally in tears. They were so happy. And then we did another event, Drive By and Get a Pie, which, was just, definitely people were driving by, get a pie, but Cindy's Pets was there, and we were raffling off a Budweiser tent that I got. And we raised another 1,000. So we're up to 7,500, and they are thrilled. So I still got 2,500 to go, but I'll figure it out.
Well, and here's the thing is you can hear in your heart, Judy, that you're passionate about helping this.
I am passionate about
anyway,
it.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. And Kelly, you've got good causes. So it starts with a passion project first. I'm going to tell you that because, it's something that you would have done anyway. So think of for 2021, everybody needs our help. Let's be honest. There's more people that need help than ever right now, from mental health to financial health to just a new focus in life. I mean, there's so many people that need help right now. So think about what your passion project for 2021 might be and how you could use that, like Kelly and Judy have, to really perpetuate your business and your networking and your lead gen. And you make it one big positive thing that you actually enjoy doing. You enjoy it. You look forward to it. And then think of the creative ways that you can get together with these people like Kelly has. Kelly, now I love your idea of Uber Eating a Starbucks to someone, because I have lots of these appointments. And I think it would just floor someone if I said, hey, there's going to be a knock at your door in a little while with a caramel macchiato. How cool is that?
Awesome. It's so cool. And, I'm thinking about doing a dinner that way too. Because, I won this dinner from the Bucks. I won this Tampa Bay Bucks event, and it was actually an event that was for one of the restaurants. So I nominated one of my favorite restaurants, which is Tasso Italiano. And I nominated them for this Bucks tailgate party, and they won $20,000 in advertising, TV advertising. So it was Frontier and the Bucks trying to help local restaurants that are suffering. And so I nominated them, and I won the grand prize. So I got to have a virtual dinner with 8 of my friends at my house. Tasso's delivered all the food, and we had the Bucks, some of the Bucks members that participated with us via Zoom on a big screen TV in our dining room. So by doing that, I thought, what a great idea. So I'm thinking about doing a dinner. It'll just be small dinners, maybe 4 or 5 at a time, and having dinner delivered to everybody. And then we get together on Zoom and have dinner together. So I'm thinking about doing that too after the holidays.
I love it. I love it. So here's the thing. One last question, Kelly, because we're right at 9. Moving forward, let's assume there's a vaccine, COVID, we stop talking about it in the news because everything seems to be going in the right direction and people are getting back to a sense of norm. What elements of this would you keep?
I think I would still keep doing the coffee thing, just because, again, you get together in larger groups and you don't get to know each other as well. But
or you're at Starbucks and it's loud and there's not enough chairs and
yeah, so it makes it, and you don't have to get dressed. You can be in your PJs and do it early in the morning and just gotta roll out of bed in your PJs, get your coffee delivered and be on a Zoom call. So I think to some extent I'll still do some of that because I think that that's pretty awesome. And I do like still reaching out to people via Facebook, because sometimes that's the only connection you still have with people, especially people from your past. It makes it super easy to stay in contact. And I'll definitely still keep doing that too.
For most of us, our CRM is Facebook. And yet what I'm going to challenge you guys to do is learn, starting the beginning of the year, I'm going to have some real basic classes of how to pull your audience from Facebook and put them into Command so you can do both, because Command can be the automation. And
I have a super great idea for how to do that.
Tell us.
Oh my gosh. So I did a contest on Facebook and I gave away a Ring doorbell, and it was 100 rings for a ring. And so as long as I got 100 phone calls that day, then I would pick one to win the Ring doorbell. And then when they called, they had in order to register, they gave me their name, their address, and their phone number, so that way I could get them registered, right? And I had 2 girls in my office taking turns taking the phone calls. And so, in one day, you get 100 new contacts out of your own Facebook now into your Command.
Brilliant.
Super easy. For $100, you get 100 contacts.
Brilliant. And if you just had people fill out a Facebook form, it would go a Google spreadsheet form, you guys, which I can show you how to do. You would come out in an Excel spreadsheet that you could import into Command. So just letting you know, there's some really simple ways to do this. We just got to think differently, right?
Yep. And I've had somebody that did one too, that sent out a really cute card, and it was like a game, and you had to give your name and address and he would send you a gift. And so the gift you got was like this puzzle, and it had a photo of my dogs from Facebook on it. And then it was this puzzle, and it was really cute, and it was just like a card. So it cost him probably not much to mail them, but he got everybody's addresses that way.
Smart, smart, smart.
I have a question.
Yeah, Donna.
Kelly, what was your time frame for getting those 100 calls? Like, what did you allot for the time?
It was from 9 to 3 that day.
How cool. How cool is that?
You guys like setting aside a little amount of time, it doesn't take a ton of time. And for $100, we all spend $100 and get 2 leads, right? So
right.
Yeah.
All day long. Amen to that.
All day long.
Amen to that. Here's the thing. There's so many great ways to move forward together. And if we just keep focusing on what we can do and the positive outcomes of it, we'll keep our mojo going, our brain juices going, our everything flowing. And that's what we need. So thank you, Kelly, for sharing. We love you. I'm so grateful to have you on our Agent Leadership Council. We're going to have a great year ahead of us.
I'm super excited.
Yes. And thanks for being part of our call today. Starting next Tuesday, 8 o'clock to 9, we're going to tackle shift. So let's do it together. Love you guys. Have a powerful day.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.